Hello everyone, welcome to this session 4 of UiPath Autopilot and working in UiPath Studio Web along with understanding how you can utilize multiple generative AI capabilities that are a part and parcel of UiPath now. I would like to thank my co-author Swati Nilkurti who helped me to bring this presentation for you all. And yeah, this is a fourth part and the final day of New York A series. And today's agenda will be simple. We'll be starting with the introduction of UiPath Studio Web and working a bit on Autopilot. And then we'll check how we can use our development experience in UiPath Studio Web and we can build automations. There are some pretty basic as well as hands-on sessions that are planned. So please keep your Chrome ready because that's the only thing that you need, Chrome or browser or any other browser that you can access, and try to log into cloud.uipath.com. We'll be giving out few demonstrations. Along with that, we'll see a bit on the expressions, how to generate automatically all the expressions instead of you writing the code. That hassle is moved away now. We can just use natural language, and the code will be available for you. We'll also see some best practices, and we'll see how we should use Autopilot so that we can get the best results. Um, well, if you haven't started with UiPath Cloud, just go ahead to cloud.uipath.com. Well, this can be like a hands-on session. We have few set of slides. So just go ahead, and let's keep it as interactive. If you have completed this activity, just go ahead and give a thumbs up, and let's continue from there. So go to cloud.uipath.com and just log in. I, I'm showing you in the video like how you can go into Studio Web. So just go ahead and try to open it. I'll wait for a few minutes for your confirmation and then I'll continue. So just go ahead and please confirm. Diana, is the chat enabled for everyone?
It is.
Okay, so everyone, you can just go ahead and type in your message, reply back if you have completed this activity. Please confirm once it's done. You can just go into cloud.uipath.com. You can ignore this tenant name and just use cloud.uipath.com.
There you go. You got one thumb up.
Okay, great. Okay, cool. Let's continue. Now, why do we need UiPath Studio Web when we already have UiPath Studio and UiPath Studio X? There are a few differences that I would like to bring in the next slide, but the basic or the key benefits are, since this is a browser-based access, there will not be any installation you require. You just need to log in through a browser, and all the integrations, like if you want to use Gmail or if you want to use Microsoft Office or any kind of integrations, there are hundreds of integration services that are available. And if you want to create your own integration service and connect to your own APIs, that's possible with UiPath Studio Web. You can directly access them. Now, the UiPath Studio Web also provides a bit of a part of version controlling system, and you can see which version are you currently editing. So this will also help you to um, go back to previous versions in case you may have made something that must be reverted. It is very friendly, and everything is just drag and drop, or you can just see all the activities on the view of the development panel. And since this is with the security of UiPath Cloud, if you are having UiPath Cloud access, then you can access UiPath Studio Web as well. So there is single point of entry for UiPath Cloud Platform. Okay, I hope everyone are able to access to this particular portal. If you are not able to do that, just go into the portal, and then here you can just add /studio. That will navigate you to Studio Web. Now, here are some key benefits, as well as with Studio Web, and the differences um, between workspace in Studio and templates in the Studio Web. Now, if you see here in this video, I have clearly shown you, like, once you navigate into the Studio, you will be able to see two different options, or two different tabs. One is a workspace, the second one is the template. Now, in workspace, this is a place where you can see all your automations, or this can be like an index of your automations. And whereas in the templates, there can be some pre-built or predefined frameworks or code, you can also call it as pre-existing code that you can use or that you can utilize, so that you need not rewrite each and every part of a code, and you can reuse it. For example, there is already some template available for me for providing purchase order for my that's already automated. And if I want to use it, I can create it as a template within my Studio Web, and then I can reuse it multiple times. Now, as the purpose suggests, it's dashboard for the ongoing projects and workflows. And if you want to use a pre-built automation template, you can go with the templates. Now, main activities that you can do with workspace are, you can check with the existing automations, create new automations, and organize the workflows. And even if you want to share, delete, or export them, you can do it using the workspace. And in the templates, you can modify the existing template, customize predefined automation, and you can also start a new project. Uh, The important concept here, you will just see in few minutes, is you can also write some natural language prompt, and UiPath will be able to automatically generate the code for you. We'll see that in few minutes. I'll just continue with the next one. Most of the other points are the same, like you can just open and update all the activities that are available. Now, let's understand the difference between a Studio Web and a Studio in the desktop version. Why do we need a specific Studio Web? Now, Studio Desktop is built on Microsoft .NET platform, and it currently supports Windows environment for you to develop any automation. But on the contrast, we have UiPath Studio Web that is browser-based development environment, where you just need to log in to the platform using a browser, and you can start working with Chrome automations. There is no installation required. And the UI is simply easy for you. Even for a beginner, you can just go ahead and get started. There can be a small learning curve, which can be very easy to get started and start with your first automation and to deploy them. Now, cloud-based integration support is provided both in Studio Web, or Studio Web, as well as cloud and desktop options. Well, with Studio Desktop, you can treat this as more advanced than Studio Web, because it has more advanced properties to do desktop automation as well as Citrix automations. But these are the limitations with Studio Web. You need to work with on the cloud applications, and Chrome. If you want to go with UI automation, you need to work on Chrome. Now, uh, if you want to install the latest updates with Studio desktop version, you need to wait and wait for your IT approval, and there can be like you can be behind by 6 months of the release cycle of UiPath. But the moment you are in Studio Web, and you will be able to log in and get the latest features from UiPath, and you will be updated with the latest security features as well as the latest UI updates at every release. Now, if you're going into templates, you can see this option called Generate with Autopilot, as well as on the left, you can see Autopilot to generate your automations. This is in the templates of UiPath Studio platform. Now, if you are seeing this, just give me a thumbs up and say that, okay, I can see this. Yes, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Okay, I can see one. I'll wait for a minute and I'll continue. Okay, let's just continue. Now, using UiPath Autopilot, we are talking about both UiPath Autopilot as well as Studio Web in this particular session. Now, Studio Web is a development environment, whereas UiPath Autopilot is a feature provided by UiPath that can help you to work with GPT features. And UiPath have integrated exclusively and extensively with the prompting features, as well as generating text as and content using Autopilot along with the code. So we'll also use Autopilot. Now, if you can see here, generate with Autopilot and get started, these two options are provided for you to use text or prompt into the Studio Web and generate the code for you. Now, how Autopilot helps, like if you are writing some code, and you can see some options or some actions that are prompted automatically. That's a feature of UiPath Autopilot. And if you want to, let's say that I want to write a link expression, or if I want to write a date in a specific format, but I don't know how to do it, and I need to go through Google and search 100 different pages and come back with an answer. Instead of doing that, automatic expression generation will help you to generate the expressions automatically. And even you can integrate, let's say that I want to integrate my Gmail, I can just ask it to write a prompt, or I can just write a prompt stating, here is give me access or get my Gmails, and get the count of how many hundred emails I have. Maybe you can just go ahead and try it out. Along with this, you will also be able to automatically name a particular activity. Previously, if you are already a developer, you might have seen every activity that you drag and drop into the development environment, it is with a single static name. Now, with Autopilot, it understands your code and it will automatically generate a specific name for you. Let's just go ahead and see this in practical. Okay. Now, if you can see here, you can start with a, a particular automation. The way how you do it is open Studio Web and create a new project. And once you click on it, you can name it as you wish. And either you can generate with Autopilot. There will be a plus option like this. You can click on it and use generate with Autopilot, and you can use an Autopilot to generate it. And if you are adding a sequence, you can use you can use comment to generate a code for it. So everyone just go ahead and try to start with a new project or new task. Let me just see if I can show it to you. So here, if you can see here, we'll go ahead and get started. And in this, I'm just writing like create a UiPath workflow that generates numbers from 1 to 10, squares each number and displays the result. You can use something like this, or you can just write uh, create a UiPath workflow that generates numbers from 1 to 10 and prints out the result. You can use any of these prompts. So basically, you are prompting to UiPath to give me the automation, and let's just see. This will automatically generate. It will take time to generate the code, and once it is generated, you can hit on continue if you are agreeing for the changes, and everything will be added up for you. Okay, so I'll take a pause and I'm going to keep the prompt here. So how many of you are able to see the templates and see generate with autopilot? If you are able to see that, just go ahead and type in. I can wait for you, and then we'll continue because all the activities that we are doing are hands-on. So just go ahead and give it a try. Things will be much more easier once you get started. If you are facing any issue, please add it in the chat. We'll try to continue. Can you add a screenshot in the chat if you have completed an activity, whatever result that you have now? Can you please add it as a screenshot in the chat? Okay, we'll just see and continue. So here, UiPath is automatically generating code for you. Let's just continue to see. Once that's done, you can see a list of activities with all the variables automatically generated. So just go ahead and yeah, this is cool. So let's go ahead and click on continue, and activities will be available for you. Just hit on continue. So you have every piece of code that you need to square a number or a list of numbers. Now, if you can see here, click on test on cloud. Now, when you do test on cloud, this is running on UiPath machines, so you need not maintain any infrastructure here. UiPath is doing all the activities for you, and all you need to work or see over here is just try to work on with the automation, and things will be available for you. And once that's done, you can go back and you can see a project is created with name. It will be automatically named, or you can change the name, and that will be available as squared numbers. Just go ahead and confirm once it is done, or give me a thumbs up once this is done. So create an automation, and then just go ahead and click on test on cloud. So test on cloud, click on here, and bot will run and it will show all the options or output for you. Just try to take a screenshot of your output and try to add it in the chat. We'll continue in a while. Can I go ahead and proceed further? Please give me a thumbs up. Okay, great. So now, as I've said, like as a developer, you need to have multiple ways of generating your code. Now, let's assume that you already have a project created and you want to generate a code for adding two numbers and showing the result in a log message. All I need to do just add a sequence, and in that sequence, you can just go ahead and type in whatever comment that you want to add as an annotation and click on generate. So try to do this as well. Start with a new project, and once you are in the new project, click on plus button. If you can see here, click on plus button and then click on sequence. In this sequence, so this is one more way how you can generate a code. Add a sequence, and UiPath provides you an option to automatically or to add your annotation or explain what you want over here, annotate with autopilot, and then you can type in the annotation and then click on generate. So here my prompt is add two numbers and show result in a log message. Now I haven't asked it to assign any variables, so it will generate me a code, but you can modify the prompt so that it will automatically generate the variables for you and you can just run and execute the code. So it's taking time. Now here it created assigning the first variable number to the first variable, second variable, and then adding the two numbers and showing the result. Let's just go ahead and click on confirm. Here is where I have said like it's not adding variables for you. If you want to change the prompt, you can do it. Now, the important thing that you can see over here is the name is mentioned as sequence one. If you can see here, the name is mentioned as sequence one here. Now, if I now in regular practice, we need to go into each and every activity and we need to rename it and try to see what are the activities that are available in in that particular sequence, and we need to rename it. Now with UiPath Autopilot, we will be able to just ask the autopilot to rename this particular sequence, and it will automatically rename it for you with a meaningful description or meaningful title so that you can understand what's happening in the sequence or what's happening in that block. So sequence to add two numbers and log result, that's what is available. So it takes input of all the activities as well as my comments and everything, and it will generate this title. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Please confirm once you are able to complete this activity. Please post it in the chat. Once you are done, you can create a new project. If you are facing any issues or if you are not able to understand how to navigate, just raise the hand or add it in the chat. We'll continue.
Vajrada, I have a question.
Yeah, Vino, go ahead.
Yeah. So through this autopilot capability by writing just a prompt, would it able to understand what specific trigger it has to use and what is the rule it has to set up in the trigger?
Now, if you're seeing, if you're starting with a basic empty empty case, then it's manual trigger. But if you can ask, like when a new email comes in, then forward the email to a specific user, then the trigger will be changed. The trigger will be changed to a Gmail trigger and or an event trigger, and you need to configure it, and then you can work with it. Yes, basically you need to either give it a couple of tries with the prompt, but you
Mm-hmm.
will be able to change the trigger with the prompt itself. But that must be done in the like as I have said, in the initial stage, not uh, like if you can see this particular option where you are asking to Autopilot to generate your automation. There you
Mm-hmm.
need to clearly mention what type of trigger it should be and how you need to work with it. If you are able to give a proper trigger, now if you can see in this particular option, yeah, now here extracted table from the sales opportunity, this is one. And let's just see if there is anything on the mail.
Mm-hmm.
So there can be multiple options, like if there is a Gmail file, there is a drive that's updated with a file, you need to perform an action, you can change the trigger and you can do all those activities. Yes, it's possible.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Yeah, that's a great question, Thank you.
Thanks, Vajra.
Okay, let's just continue with the next activities. Now, there are multiple ways how you interact with Autopilot in UiPath Studio Web. We have seen how to generate it entirely from new as a new automation. We have also seen, like if there is already an automation, you can click on the plus button and create a sequence and then add Autopilot. But let's understand, or let's try to bring in this bringing this scenario where my manager asked or have given me in Excel with date time format or date format in YYDDMM, and he is now asking me to change everything to US standard format, that is MMDDYYYY. Now, I don't know the code. I don't know how to write the code for it. Now you will be able to use Studio Web and Autopilot to automatically generate those expressions for you. There are few examples that I'll be able to show you in the next series of slides. But this is one of the powerful feature of Autopilot. It automatically generates expressions and it can generate conditions, it can generate data manipulations for you, and you can check it. You can check how the expression is created, and you can see what is the output for that particular expression. Let's just continue and try to do a manual task or try to check with this option. Now, there can be a string manipulation. All these can be examples. Now, there can be a string manipulation. This is input string. Now, extract the first name from this input string. If you can give something like this, expression that will be generated will be this, and the output string will be John. Let's try to do this practically. I'm stopping the screen. I'm stopping the presentation for a while. Let's just go ahead and see this. Cloud staging.uipath. I'm having a separate environment. I'll be using this. Okay. And if you can see here, in the staging environment, I don't have Studio, but I can just go here and add slash studio and then underscore and then slash and then hit enter. This will navigate me to Studio web environment. Can you see the browser presentation, or are you still seeing the PowerPoint?
Yeah, I can see the browser, the staging, the
Yeah.
staging.uipath.com, right? Yeah.
So let's just go with projects. Let's just see. You will also have an option to directly open Studio from here. If you have that option, you can click on that to open. I'm going into my workspace and I'll create a new project, create new, and I'll try to add all these into just and the presentation. Let's give me a second and show. So I'll try to add this in your chat. So just try to use it or try to work with this. Copy. I have added this into the chat. So let's just okay. I've given some prompts again, since I've copied it in the form of text, it's not showing properly, but let me just try to give you a screenshot of it. Chat. Yeah, I've added a screenshot. You can use it as a reference. Now here you can see we are concentrating only on automation or autopilot with workflows. So go ahead and create with this. Now, if you can see, there are multiple triggers. You can use a mail trigger, you can use Microsoft 365, or you can schedule an automation, and you can use some controls and workspace. For now, I'm going with manual automation. And here, let's just go ahead and log or assign an activity. Assign or initialize. Okay, I'm not able to find the activity itself, so I'll just go ahead and generate with autopilot. Initialize a variable with value John Doe. Click on generate. We know I'm facing this issue in my cloud environment. Do I need to activate anything? Okay, let's just use my studio environment. Okay, I'll just go with my manual automation, and then I will use assign or sequence, and I can add, or I can click on here, annotate with autopilot, assign John Doe to first name variable, and click on generate. So it can automatically generate the code for you. Save first name, click on confirm. If you're seeing here, this is an activity, set variable value. Now, this is the advantage of using autopilot. I don't know what is the exact activity that I need to work with, but you give a prompt for it and it will automatically generate the code. Now here, I'll just use log message to show me, to show the output. Log message. And what is the first one? Extract the first name from input string. So you can just go here, click on expression editor, and this is the best part. You can write your prompt over here. Extract first name from here. Say first name that you have, you can click on this particular variable, and all you need to do is click on generate expression. Okay, now this is showing me first name. That's because I named it incorrectly. Let's just go ahead and try to rename it first. The way how you do it, click into the variables panel, open data manager, and you can rename it. Rename, instead of first name, just give it as full name, and then hit on enter. It cannot contain spaces, so just give it as full name. So click here, open expression editor, get first name only. So this is one way of generating expressions from the first full name, and then hit on generate expressions. Let's just see. So if you're seeing here, it wrote a complete expression. If full name is not nothing, it's also seeing some negative conditions, and also string is not null or empty. It means that the value should be having some information. Full name dot toString. Now convert or split that into two parts, and then get the value. If there is no value in the full name, then just give me empty value. So all I can do over here is the full name, that is Vajrang B, and I can click on test over here to test this expression. What is the input and what's the output? You can see the result over here. And if you are satisfied with the expression, you can click on save. Or if you want to change something in this, you can also ask it to ask the changes over here. Click on save. Let's go ahead and run our code. Click on test on cloud. And if you can see, the first name is available over here. So like this, let's say that I want to change the expression, and if I want to change something else, I can do it directly from describe your expression here, and UiPath will generate the code for you. I have provided you the table in the screenshot or chat. So go ahead and give it a try. Add some input, add some values, and try to write an expression and try to see the result, and try to give me the result. Okay, let's just continue and follow up with all the other last slides. Now here is a sample string manipulation that I have already shown. So just go ahead and create new, click on workflow and manual automation, click on add activity, and then set variable value. So if you can see, automatically activities are getting popped up on the top. You need to just use them. Click on create a variable, and then you can mention it as create str input. So this is a naming convention. And then set one more variable. Here you can use expression editor. Okay. And then extract extension from it. So you know the path of a file and you need extension from it. So UiPath is generating the extension for you. Click on it and save. Here you can create a variable to save it, str output, and then finally show it as a result in output log message. Click on that and then file extension is, and then give the variable. UiPath will ask for a log level, and then once it is done, execute the code. If you're seeing everything successful, you can see the code executed successfully, and then you can see the extension over here, that is .txt. This is how easy it is to create a code and run on it. Now, there are few more examples that are available. You can also create some regex expressions. I'll try to quickly fast forward things. Now, if you're seeing here, the expression is like, okay, I have list of users like user 1, user 2, user 3 mentioned with @ Let's say that I have a post on my Instagram and it's mentioned with @ and my name. Now, using our code, let's just try to extract the information. So the value or expression is something like this: extract all @ mentions @ username. So you need to give a proper prompt and then hit on continue. It will automatically write code for you. And let's just see it in the for loop. Now here it will run the code and it will show you all the users. So there are some best practices with Autopilot. Don't give very big prompt. Give it shorter prompts so that it can run your code, run the prompt and generate code for you. And if you are using, if you know a proper website, you can also give it or give the activities, and then it can generate code for you to loop in loop in or fill in the information. And when you are working with Autopilot, it's mandatory to have a human intervention in between, because if you don't have that human oversight, there can be few instances where the business logic can go wrong. You need to have proper testing while working with Autopilot. So debug and test properly while working with Autopilot. Now, here are the key takeaways. Go ahead and try out UiPath Studio Web and try with the integrations and expressions. They will be very useful. And if you are already a developer, or if you are new, starting with UiPath Studio Web will give you a great head start, and you can continue from there. So these are some of the studio resources to get started. And this is my LinkedIn where you can connect with me. If you have any questions, you can ask, or else Diana, we are good.
Yeah, let's just check the chat again.
Sure.
Yeah, if anybody wants to take themselves off mute, you can too, and ask any questions you might have. Okay, I think we're good. So everybody, thank you so much for attending this series. Again, this recording will be available tomorrow. And Avinash and Vino Levan, thank you so much for hosting this session. And if you guys are interested in any additional topics, please just let us know. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.